Hello, my name is Simeon Jackman-Smith. Today I'll be presenting to you about Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, born 14th of March 1879, died 17th of April 1955. Productions by Forever Sci-Fi and Fantasy Ltd. All rights reserved. www.FS-F&F.co.uk. Introductions. Albert Einstein was born on the 14th of March 1879. Einstein was born in the previous German Empire in 1895. He moved to Switzerland. When he was 17 years old, he enrolled in the Mathematics and Physics Teaching Diploma program at the Swiss Federal Polytechnic School in Zurich. He graduated in the year 1900. In the year 1905, he was awarded a PhD by the University of Zurich. In the year 1917, he became the director of the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute for Physics in Germany. Einstein received the Nobel Prize in Physics in the year 1921. When Adolf Hitler came into power in Germany in that year, 1933, Einstein objected to the policies of this government. He went on to settle in the United States of America, USA, and eventually became a US citizen. On the eve of World War II, Einstein informed the President of the USA about German research on nuclear weapons and recommended that the US carry out similar work. In the year 1955, Einstein suffered internal bleeding from a rupture and died on the 17th of April of that year. Famous works of Albert Einstein, which contributed to science. It is not possible to say exactly what Einstein's first scientific work was. However, it is known that in the year 1894 or 1985, he wrote an essay with a title that translates to English as On the Investigation of State of Ether in Magnetic Fields. The actual German title is too difficult for me to pronounce. At the age of 21, Albert Einstein submitted his first paper for publication. The title of the first paper translates to Conclusions drawn from the phenomena of capillarity and was published in 1900 in the journal Annales de Physique. Quote from an article by Hans Joseph Kupper during the years from 1901 to 1954. Albert Einstein published more than 300 scientific works. He got his Annus Mirabilis in 1905. He revolutionized the physics of his time with 5 works he published that year. Annus Mirabilis of Albert Einstein, published 1905. This refers to 4 groundbreaking papers by Albert Einstein, all published in that year, when he was 26 years old, which was truly monumental and groundbreaking. Annus Mirabilis translates to Miracle Year. All 4 was published in the German scientific journal Annales de Physique. English translations of the 4 papers can be read in the Collected Papers of Albert Einstein, Volume 2, The Swiss Years, Writings, 1900 to 1909. Princeton University Press, 1990, English Translation Supplement. Annus Mirabilis of Albert Einstein, published 1905, first paper. The first paper known with the translation on a heuristic point of view concerning the production and transformation of light, explained in photoelectric effect, which established the energy of light quanta, E as E equals hf, where the letter H is Planck's constant and the letter F is the frequencies of the electromagnetic waves. Einstein put forward that light consists of discrete packets, advancing the theory of wave particles duality in the quantum mechanics. Annus Mirabilis of Albert Einstein published 1905 second paper. The second paper, known with the translations on the movement of small particles suspended in stationary liquids, required by molecular kinetic theories of heat, elaborated on Brownian motions. This paper helped to move the theory of atoms into reality by offering a way for scientists to count and observe their behaviors during experiments. Einstein wrote, "It will be shown in this paper that according to the molecular kinetic theory of heat, bodies of microscopically visible size suspended in liquids must, as a result of thermal molecular motions, perform motions of such magnitude that these motions can easily be detected by a microscope. It is possible that the motions to be discussed here are identical with the so-called Brownian molecular motions." Annus Mirabilis of Albert Einstein published 1905, third paper. In the third paper known with the translations on the electrodynamics of moving bodies, Einstein presented that the speed of light was constant. Einstein wrote, "We will raise this conjecture, the purport of which we hereafter be called the principle of relativity, to the status of a postulate, and also introduce another postulate, which is only apparently irreconcilable with the former, namely that light is always propagated in empty spaces with a definite velocity, c, which is independent of the state of motion of the emitting body." Annus Mirabilis of Albert Einstein published 1905, fourth paper. The fourth paper is known with an English translation of the title as "Does the inertia of a body depends upon its energy content?" This paper relates to the theory of special relativity, and it expounded on the principle of mass-energy equivalence, expressed in the famous equation E equals mc squared. This is Einstein's most famous equation, but actually he originally stated this as a sentence, which translates to English as, "If a body gives off energy, L, in the form of radiation, its mass diminishes by L divided by V squared, with L standing for Lagrangian as a general form of energy and V standing for the speed of light in a vacuum." It was only actually later that he replaced L with E and replaces V with C, used M to refer to mass, and rearranged the formula to the incredibly famous one we know today. And who better to summarize the implications of this statement than Einstein himself, who wrote in the very next sentence of the same paper, quote, "Since obviously it is in essentials that the energy withdrawn from the body happens to be to turn into energy of radiation, the mass of a body is a measure of its energy content." The Bose-Einstein condensate, BEC 1924. This form of matter was predicted in 1924 by Albert Einstein on the basis of the quantum formulations of the Indian physicist Satyendra Nath Bose. Although it has been predicted for decades, the first atomic BEC was only made in 1995. Bose-Einstein constancy are now known as the fifth out of the general established six states of matter, with the others being known as solid, gas, liquid, plasma and fermionic condensates. At the moment, the fifth and sixth state of matter can only be produced under laboratory conditions, but no doubt in due course society and the world will find amazing ways to use these states of matter, just as they have made use of Einstein's other scientific discoveries. The Manhattan Project. Research and development undertaken during World War II. Einstein's letter to President Franklin Roosevelt in 1939, which warned that the Nazi regime was researching into nuclear weapons and recommended that the USA also conduct research into these weapons, had some impact in resulting the Manhattan Project, which would produce what are still the most devastating category of man-made weapons ever to exist, the nuclear weapons. They actually changed the course of World War II, and while not actually used directly in a war, since they have potential to kill millions per bomb. Contrary to many impressions, Einstein did not directly work on designing any nuclear weapons. His famous equation E=mc² does explain the energy released in a nuclear explosion, but doesn't really say anything about how to actually build one. That is it for this short presentation. Thank you for watching and goodbye.